boy that's coming for a walk. I'm not saying it's a free-for-all where animals have free will to come for the walk, but what have I got? 1 dog and 2 cats today. The other fella, he's just, last week, he's just doesn't really want to come. Anyway, I'm going to read something to you. And then I'm just going to freelance off from it. Right? The equation of faith for promises and opportunities. After I've read this, it'll just, until my battery power runs out, we're going to be getting right into this. The equation of faith for promises and opportunities. In the fullness of time, this is the equation, plus God withholds no good thing equals, if it's not here yet, it's still not time. Get out your pen and paper, listen to that again. You go like energy equals square times the square of the energy equals mass times the square of the speed of light. Plus 1 plus negative 1 equals 0, the great cancellation. One more time. In the fullness of time, plus symbol, plus God withholds no good thing equals, if it's not here yet, it is still not time. Real simple equation, but the ramifications of comprehending what this is all about is the difference between living a life with a reasonable amount of peace and doing your head in, constantly using self-will. So whatever that promise or opportunity might be, if it is still not here yet, it is either you are still not ready or they are still not ready. The game of surrender to the will of God and follow the path laid out for you daily requires trust and patience. You are very aware of what seems like all of the impossibilities that sit in particular situations where the hand of God is working within these different intricate variables to bring into fruition the desired result. You should be very aware of this, and it takes patience and time. We are not talking about a single chess game here. If you are not in a situation where God has at least 100 chess games going on at once, you're simply not in a situation. With each situation being a single block for the game of Tetris. So, why is trust and patience important? Because we are all pawns in God's game. But here it is. If you have multiple situations going on at once, where each situation has its own fleet of situations, where ultimately God is trying to marry all of your situations together as one, to then move forward as a unit, now you understand the equation of faith. Being patient with God, whilst He brings individualized situations together out of seemingly nowhere, so that a fleet of situations turns into a single unit, where that unit is much better managed under the guise of a dues-paid captain, which should be you, instead of being shrewd out in chaos. If you are the captain, God is navigating your fleet to you so that all comes under the one set of wings, yours. Be patient with God so that God can be patient with you. Isn't that cute? All right. So I had to do this. I had to put it together. And if you can be patient with me, I'm actually going to fold that piece of paper up and let's put it in my pocket. So, let's touch base on the phenomenon of kingdom marriages at the moment. Let me tell you, I reckon I've experienced more heartache with this situation than any other relationship I've been in. And honest to goodness, I've experienced some pretty ordinary heartache in my life. Now, and saying like the double portion of the situation, but where I'm at is I'm doing this because God wants it for me. I ain't doing it for me. And if I was to base it upon understanding the value of my own self-worth, I wouldn't be doing it. And God knows something that I don't know. God sees stuff that I don't see. And I have to have complete faith and trust in God, because my human understanding tells me the juice is not worth the squeeze. And how do I say this? So I know who my kingdom spouse is. And God has made it very clear. And I am not making any advances because I understand, don't awaken love before it's time. And all I can think of that is happening here is there is satanic bombs that are being placed upon her, or there are demons that are still in there. But whatever it is, every time there is the potential for an encounter, it feels like a bomb gets dropped in the water and you get blown out of it. And then you're left for the next day and a half completely just trying to get over the heartache of it, right? And so you got to sit there and like contemplate to yourself, what's the bigger picture that's going on here? And so for me, I can see that it's just not time. And I'm not going to approach the individual, and I'm not going to even explain why I know what I know. Again, on a human base level, it would make sense for me to be like, look, you're about to miss out on an opportunity that was your God-given opportunity, and it's about to get thrown in the bin. And so if you're to look at this from a higher perspective, that's when you know that the devil's got into her ear, because he knows that purely through the behavior that's being displayed, they're going to throw an opportunity in the bin. That's his greatest wish. So obviously, there is a little bit in it for all of our kingdom marriages. I'm not quite sure what their role is, what her role is in my life. Not quite sure. I've had nothing but disappointment with women, so I'm not quite sure what a good woman is, to be honest. And here's the other side of it. So maybe they're acting funny because they've been burnt by a narcissist. And so the problem you've got is, what if they and what if me, what if we both got really good boundaries now and we didn't have them before? So that could be it. So then I have to respect the boundaries. Great. And I was doing that anyway. I'm just trying to explain a bigger part of what's going on here. So every time I get blown out of the water, all of a sudden, temptations end up in my life everywhere. Fascinating. Since this little blowout of the water, I reckon I've had a half a dozen women that are reasonably attractive, do what it is they do, and probably not recognizing that they've got devils in their ears guiding their movements, because, there's a lot at stake here. So everything is a test. It all works out well for those of us who, have faith in God and God's plans for us. They've been very rocky this last week for me, to be honest with you, and it's tested the guts out of my faith, is what it is. Anyway, back to it. So if I know that that's them, and I will be honest with you, because I won't be the first to say this, and this is why I'm going to give you reassurance. It's just like, I'm saying the first fleet. I feel like one of the first fleets that's going through the heartache of this, right? So I gave up the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm moving on. But dead set, I was just like, I don't care anymore. I wouldn't have tolerated this much mediocrity for this long with any other female that I've had to experience within my existence. And I was like, why would this one deserve any more of my, anything at all? Because I've been patient, and I've been chaste and I have been well-mannered. Now, here's the funny thing. I've come to understand that women equal trouble. So, in regards to these attractive females that the underworld have been sending my way, I mean, this afternoon, it just makes me laugh to the point I went shopping, right? And as I finish my shop and I'm in the checkout, I look up and there's a woman there and I'm like, oh, here we go. Because, yes, they are quite attractive, right? And just as I finish what I'm doing and paying and pick my bags up, they have just walked past me and they're about 3 meters in front of us and they're walking out. And of course, they are wearing clerical clothes, office wear, and their ass is that precise within the pants that any male that was of this world would probably go home and enjoy lustful thoughts about this human. Now, see, for me, because I've been able to, so what is a belief? Essentially, a belief is what you feel, what you know, what you understand, but you can choose to have different beliefs. I have chose to believe that women are trouble, and so it doesn't matter. See, I wasn't lusting after that woman. I was just quite simply explaining to you that these are the games that are being played at the moment. And you're going to have those who God sends your way. For example, I was in the shopping centre and I didn't know how to make soup. God worked upon someone's heart and they came and explained to me the best gear, and they found the best gear for me in the shelves on how to make the soup that I wanted to eat. Great. So you've got the devils and you've got the angels, and obviously they're batting. It's like tennis, and it's just like you've got to decipher who you're following, and you've got to have discernment about what's really going on, right? Because if I was worldly, I'd be thinking, well, the Almighty's looking after us today, giving us eye candy everywhere to keep an eye on, this is my due. But no, let's be clear. It's not your due. That is the satanic world keeping you in a lustful state so that you fornicate. And especially at the moment now, obviously, I've got things coming up in the not too distant future, and they're trying really hard. I don't receive female attention. You see, this is what it gets me about the Matrix, right? This world hates my stinking guts. Hates it. The only people that like me are those who God has given me favour with. Everyone else, repulsed. Or they act in a manner, it's just, they can't comprehend the light. They avoid me like the plague. So why now all of a sudden has the script flipped? Is it because I'm special? No. I know, I know who I am within God. That's fine. It's got nothing to do with being special. Obviously, they're wanting me to stuff up because I've got the goods coming very soon. I don't want to get into that too much because you'll have all the different intricate variables of what the dark world will be trying to do in order to get me to fall into temptation and stuff up. It ain't going to happen. Why? Because I don't even want to be here. I don't like being human. I know that I would be a really good father, and I know how to be a fantastic husband. I have been that before, and I was that. But when you're dealing with a planet full of, Satanists and narcissists, it's hard to bring out the full potential of who it is you are as a human. Right? It is. So why has the script flipped all of a sudden, and why am I receiving consistent female attention now? Because they're on assignment. Timely assignment. Do you think that fine piece of arse just randomly finished everything that they were doing, so that as I went through a checkout where you get served, they were going to be 3 meters past me. So I was sitting there, eyes straight on their ass, as I was walking out the supermarket, where if I wanted to, I could have probably started a conversation, taken them out for tea, brought them home and slept with them. Could have done that. Probably could have slept with the girl that was behind the checkout. Probably could have slept with the person that taught me how to make the soup. Probably could have slept with someone that was behind a counter yesterday. I could probably sleep with most of these women quite easily if I wanted to be of the world. And that's what I was trying to get at. For me, it's just become a self-evident truth. Women equal trouble. Because they're extra friendly at the moment as well. They are all about the love bombing. They're all about the validation. I mean, it's just all on for Donkey Kong. But I can guarantee you, look at our mate here. He was just in my face. I can guarantee you, if there wasn't special coming up, I wouldn't be getting any attention from these human beings. So, like, it's a game. It's a computer software. That's all it is. And something that's really been hitting me lately is like, what's the business of the devil? Have a look at the state government emblem. And have a look at who the state government is full of. State government workers. Some of the most useless people on this entire planet are council workers. And they want to become council workers so that they can be useless. Gronks and deadbeats. It's a bloody shame, to be honest with you. So you're paying tax to have these useless workers bludge on council time where they would be doing more if they were dole bludgers. It's unbelievable. Like, that's why let's not go down that road. Let's get back to it. Let's talk about interesting time at the moment. If I wanted to, I could be living like a prince. Not like a king, like a prince. I could probably be enjoying 2 to 3 women a week very easily at the moment. And it's like what I'm discovering with my kingdom spouse, because I know who God wants me to be with. These sabotages are being deliberately made to blow me away like a bomb in the water in order to entice me to be attracted to these narcissists that want to come and love bomb you quick smart. You know what I mean? So where I'm at is for any male out there listening to this, you want to quick smart get your belief sorted that women are trouble, and the only one that you want to deal with is your wife that God has for you. Because for me, you can't afford to even look at someone else nowadays, to be honest with you. It's the imprintation. And you look, that will be a repeated image in your mind. So you got to get good at clearing your mind. You got to get good at keeping the garbage out. And you will hit a point, and I've definitely got there, where you have tamed the beast. And with taming it, worldly affairs like getting drunk and fucking women become an after. They're not that important, because, to be honest with you, we hit a point where it's like, unless you had to make love to your wife so that you can breed, you probably won't be having sex with them either, because there's 2 things I've discovered. Women are trouble and sex is trouble. And there's 2 things you want to become stingy with: your money and your sex. And if they can't earn it, you don't want to be giving it away, because the long and short of it is, they're after your destiny. And your destiny sits within the energy that is stored up within your sexual energy. See? We're not meant to be, literal prostitutes. Aren't they a beauty? So, take them alone. Farm is full of them. You can drive. So like that paddock just there, you'll drive out in the morning and they're every 3 foot. Full to the rim of them. That's why I've got to keep the lawns mowed around the house because they're looking for homes. Yeah. But back to it. So in regards to my kingdom marriage, as it is clear and I am aware of who it is. Back to the original equation. Don't awaken love before it's time, but if they're not receptive, if they're not ready, it's not time for the promise. So God has spoken the promise, but they're not ready. And the last thing you want to do is act, see another one, desperate, and jump the gun. You've got your entire life ahead of you, and I think a major part of the portion of the patience that we are learning to acquire here is you want to be pretty clear about your relationship with God. If you end up happy with this woman, see, I don't even know if I'm going to end up happy. I don't know what happiness is. So God obviously has plans, and he's going to be like, look, this person should bring happiness into your life. It would be fantastic. It sounds fantasies and fairy tales. It just is what it is. You know, your common sense says to you, this is how things should be, but common sense doesn't exist anymore. So you're caught in a pretty mediocre situation where you are constantly jumping the gun and getting shot in the foot with your decisions, because every single time you think you've made the right decision, in comes the devil to drop a bomb in the water and blow you away with mediocrity. Yeah. That was 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. He's a beauty, isn't he? Are they dangerous? Of course they are. We're having a scurry. Anyway, it's interesting when you go for a ride and you end up with 5 or 6 of them on your beard and your chest and face. It's not for the cowardly, let me tell you. Anyway, back to it. So, if you didn't write down the equation of faith for promises, go back to the beginning. Like, I know it seemed simple at the time, but you let it sink in and it's just like, there it is. Don't jump the gun with any of the promises, because God will hold back no good thing. So my good thing, which is my marriage, is not a good thing at the moment, so it's not being released. And I have received my own fair share of heartache about it. And to be honest with you, I reckon I've got a pretty level head. I think I've healed quite well emotionally. In most all levels of my life, I am very well established and I'm grounded and I'm ready for that next step, to be honest with you. I was talking to the stockman today. I've been at it, like buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. God, it's over 2 years now, week after week after week. Like, I've been flat. And I think I've got just about every tool I can possibly think of for what I need to do what it is that I do. Well, that's a big call, eh? And that's probably something I'd like to talk about on another day, to go through everything that I've got, because you can't just go out and buy things. They present themselves to you. The Lord has been presenting things to me piece by piece, incrementally, so that over a period of time I would end up established. I have become established, and I am essentially now the establishment of my own empire. And what does it make you? A really good one-man band, unfortunately. Anyway, unreal. Yeah. At the golf club I went to swing, and as I went to swing it, the cat runs past. Probably not even random. Anyway, so is my, I don't know if it's my season, and if it's not, God's got things to work on with me. I don't know what yet, but they'll be found out. And obviously God's working on the other party. And my job is to be patient and wait for God to release it. God holds back no good thing. So if God has spoken a promise to you and God's still holding it back, it's because it's not ready yet. So that's why I'm like, well, God wants this for me, so it must be a good thing. I need to be patient and wait for when God releases it. I shouldn't jump the gun. So either the dark world knows that it's not my season yet, but they know that I know who it is, and so they're going to test me, for what could be the next 6 or 12 months now. I don't know. I really don't care. I'm too busy focusing on legendary things like, establishing a dynasty. All women are in that regard is a distraction. When you've got business to do and you're good at it, you want to get your head down and your ass up and just focus on building the empire. Anyway, so I think that's all I've got to say about this matter now. Don't jump the gun, be patient, but faith it's such a broad word with so many different meanings, but the faith that you are looking for with the words that have been spoken over your life with God is God holds back no good thing. So if there is a promise or an opportunity that God has spoken over your life and it's being held back, God's not ready to release it yet because it's not ready. And if you can see that you're involved in many different situations that are filled with situations, and if God has handed favor to you upon those situations, you have to be patient while God plays chess to guide that situation into your waters so you can become the captain of that ship and sail it. God creates units out of individuals. So the promises that God has given to you are individualized units that will come into the fore as a fleet. And as that fleet, you are the captain of it, and your responsibility is to be dutiful and look after it. And then, we're talking about kingdom marriages, pass it on to the next generation, because essentially, you and I are nothing but pieces of shit here laying foundational work. It is our great-grandchildren that should reap the rewards of the hard work that we are putting in. Right. We're the plumbers laying the foundations for our great-grandchildren to be the CEO of the empires that are being built. So we're the tradies, and I'd hate to think that they're soft. So a major part of how we bring the next generation up will be based upon them not forgetting what it takes to build such things. Anyway, that'll do for now. Have a lovely day, lovely evening, lovely week. I hope this has helped. I needed to know this because I was getting disheartened. And once I understood it, just keep your nose clean. Keeping your nose clean, keeping out of trouble. And the things that are trouble, the things that give you heartache, essentially, or one more thing, there it is. If trouble is heartache, if what God is promising for you is still producing heartache, He's not going to be happy for you to receive it because He doesn't want you to be unhappy. So let trouble and heartache and the barometer of it allow you to understand, am I ready to receive this yet? This relationship that I should be able to receive, still too much heartache involved. It's a long way off, fortunately or un. I say fortunately or un. Fortunately could be that it's not my season, because my season right now is empire building. And I would rather be established, and I'd rather have everything in place so that they turn up and then all they've got to do is start cooking and cleaning, because that's what women are for. They're dishwashers. Not joking. No. What we have to do is make sure that the houses, get the bed and all the walls and everything are painted, and things are rendered and it's established and carpeted and we've got all the furniture and everything else. Like, you guys are walking into pre-made goodness. You just got to turn up. And so I'd hope that you appreciate the effort that's gone, that we've had to go to, you know, be prepared for you to turn up to do what it is that you do. We would have liked to help, mate, but unfortunately that's not how it's going to work. Anyway, we've done it by ourselves and it is what it is. So we've done it with God. With God's guidance and God's assistance and God's grace and God's ability to empower us to wake up every day and not be tired. All right? Have a good day. Bye.